What simple change in your daily routine had an unexpectedly large impact on your life? Trying to fall asleep while reading instead of staring at a screen. Agree, reading before sleeping helps with insomnia so much more than watching movies on Netflix before sleeping. I've noticed if I have shows on that I've already watched, I can fall asleep. But if I decided to be an idiot and put something new on, I'm not going to be able to fall asleep. My brain will be fully engaged. I have ADHD and this is what I need to fall asleep. Old true crime documentaries like The New Detectives or old American Justice investigative reports. Keeps my brain from cycling but doesn't engage my attention. Oh my god, yes, the voice of Bill Curtis is second only to Keith Morrison. Their soothing voices discussing a good murder is my favorite thing. My rule for content in bed is medium interesting, no dramas. I'll watch lecture videos, science YouTube, woodworking project, true crime, etc. For a while I would watch hit dramas like Sopranos, Wire, Breaking Bad, but they get cortisol up, especially with cliffhangers. When I switched to medium interesting shows my insomnia got markedly better. This is why I love stuff like How It's Made, slightly above monotone narration while we see how pencils and scotch tape are manufactured. Yep. In fact, a television shouldn't even be in the bedroom for this very reason. I never had a TV in my room growing up, and I have one now as an adult. We don't use it at all. To the point that I didn't even realize it wasn't working for the last year. This absolutely tracks. Especially for school-aged kids. I remember being so jealous of everyone who had a TV in their room, but when I look back, I was absolutely getting better sleep than my peers that did have one. My parents knew something, y'all. I grind my teeth, and I swear to God, I'm going to have no teeth before I'm 30. I'm in my early 20s. Every dentist I go to tells me there's no cure. Fuck, I don't believe them. I developed teeth grinding when I was a late teen or around 19, due to stress and extreme depression. I'm guessing solving stress equals no teeth grinding. What have I been doing? Literally saying no to reading, no to phones, no to work before bed. Instead, I might be praying or singing songs in my head. Maybe playing with a stuffed bear. My teeth grinding is actually decreasing. Jaw hurts less. No migraines now, holy fuck. Teeth hurt less. If your teeth grinding still continues, you can see your dentist for a mouth guard. I wear one that keeps my teeth from touching and it was a lifesaver. Brushing my teeth before I do the last thing prior to going to bed. It's a psychological trick I play on myself. I just feel so much more relaxed being able to go to bed whenever I want rather than having one last task to do beforehand. I've found brushing your teeth a little earlier than usual before bed really helps stop late night snacking as well. This is probably one of the most stereotypical common answers out there, but getting enough sleep. Once I started to prioritize getting a minimum of 8 hours of sleep each night, I felt less anxiety, less stress, more awake, happier, energized. It truly is crazy how much less energy it takes to function when you have enough sleep. I have an 18-month-old that still struggles to sleep all night. The difference in how I feel after 4 to 6 hours of interrupted sleep versus uninterrupted is amazing. I can only imagine how I'd feel after 8 full hours. Lol. And I know I'll get downvoted, but the opposite is true for me. Getting 8+ hours of sleep is a fantastic way for me to feel miserable and groggy all day long. Anywhere from 5 to 7 hours and I'll feel much, much better and more productive. All bodies are different. You have to find the sweet spot. I need about 7 to 8 hours, and even then I still find myself taking a nap midday if I'm home. Some studies suggest we aren't even supposed to be sleeping all in one time. We should be sleeping intermittently like 2 to 3 hours at a time or something. Walking for half an hour every day. The way we deal with our stress is an entirely separate process from dealing with the things that cause our stress. Stress is cumulative. It adds up in our bodies and can cause both short and long-term health problems. Physical activity exercise is the most efficient and effective way for our bodies to complete the stress cycle so we can rid ourselves of the cumulative effects of stress. 20-60 minutes a day is ideal for most people. If you feel overwhelmed by stress, check out Burnout: The Secret to Unlocking the Stress Cycle by Amelia and Emily Nagoski. Completing the stress cycle has been transformative for me. My wife and I started going for a walk every day, and it's been a game changer. We're up to 60 to 90 minutes at a time. We're losing weight. It helps reduce stress. It's time we can spend together untethered to screens and devices. We get some fresh air and vitamin D. I really look forward to our walks now. Absolutely. This book reframed exercise so radically for me that I now relish it and seek it out, and it's helped so much. Agreed. Partway through a walk, I notice myself letting out a deep, satisfying breath. I equate that to the stress cycle being completed. I can get through meditation, too. Keep all my notifications on silent. Except the calls. If it's important, they will call. Rest can wait. 100% agree on this. Notifications are among the most useless of things we've invented. We do not need to know everything that is happening 100% of the time. Years ago, around 2010 or 2011, I dumped a guy after his phone repeatedly woke me up in the middle of the night. When I asked him to turn off the sound when we were sleeping, he said, "I can't do that. What if something important happens on Facebook?" My phone is on silent unless I'm waiting for a call. I'm not living close enough to my parents that it would make sense to call me in an emergency. I have turned off the notifications for everything on my phone except phone calls, which, with the phone on silent 99% of the time, I also don't tend to notice, texts, and Messenger, the latter being how I communicate with family and friends. I don't get notifications from Instagram, Facebook, Reddit, etc. unless I am physically on the site. I see that every fucking website out there these days pushes you to agree to them sending you notifications. It's insane. I'm in my mid-60s. Cyclist most of my life. One day, I had to sprint across the street to beat approaching traffic. But my muscles strained the effort. Hadn't run in years. So in addition to my 5 a.m. walk, I've added a couple of 100-yard dashes. I've now got my running muscles back, and it gets easier all the time. Use it or lose it. You're the same age range as my father. He'll be 65 in April. The man can hardly walk without his knees bothering him. He retired about 10 years ago as a cop, and his work after was a walkable distance from their house. My sister and I encouraged him to walk to work, walk his dogs around the block, etc., but nothing came from it. Now we get to hear him complain every time we visit. You're right about that, use it or lose it. My sister and I definitely use this as an example so we don't end up like our dad. A very large percentage of people never sprint again after 30. Luckily, I've been in a sport all my 20s and now 31 still in it and keep sprints a part of a semi-regular part of my running workouts. They are great for heart health, and as someone who recently found out they have a rather common genetic cholesterol issue, I'm more on top of it. I run slow most of the time then and the run with 5 to 10 minutes of 30-second sprints. Edit, a word and all of you add sprinting. No more booze. Not that the overall positive impacts were unexpected, but a lot of the little things. For instance, I don't get panic attacks after I eat food anymore. Uninstalling other social media apps and sleeping at regular hours. Reddit is pretty toxic too. I stopped using it and it's had a positive impact on my life. I'm just back for a little bit because there is a helpful and extremely supportive subreddit related to a surgery I have coming up. Getting up 30 minutes earlier to prepare for your day? Cleaning while you cook. So much of cooking is standing around and waiting. Just loading the dishwasher and putting the ingredients away makes a huge difference in your state of mind. Unless you work in a coal mine or the back room of a restaurant or some place equally grubby or hot, Your clothes don't get dirty over the course of a day? Hang them back up rather than toss them in the hamper. Cuts way down on your laundry. Clean a little each day rather than cleaning a lot once a week. Open your mail over the wastebasket. 9/10 of it is useless clutter. Have calendar reminders to pay bills, call friends, and other things. When it comes to money, here's a simple trick. When buying something, ask, would I buy this if it cost 50% more? Because if you start thinking of it in terms of after-tax money, that's what it's really costing you. Max out your 401k at work. Especially if your employer matches. Trust me. Your 60-year-old self will thank you. Curb your consumption of TV and video games. Take up reading and walking. It works wonders on your peace of mind. The clothes one is a big one for me. Society makes it hard for people to wear outfits or clothes multiple times a week. There's no way that, unless you work at a place that getting dirty is common, or you exercise and sweat a lot, you need to change your clothes multiple times a day or not wear the same outfit twice in a week. Stretching for 10 minutes every night before bed. It relaxes my body so that when I get into bed I'm not racked with extreme pain. My average daily pain level has reduced with this as well. Couldn't recommend more. I do the opposite. I do stretches in bed when I wake up. I struggle with getting out of bed most days, but doing simple stretches makes my brain switch from sleepy time to active time, so I can't just fall back asleep. Plus it gives me time to come to terms with the fact I'm alive and figure out what order I want to do my morning routine. It's so dumb, but making my bed in the morning is a small thing that makes me feel more motivated to stay productive throughout the day. My diet. I've cut down significantly on carbs and have practically eliminated sugar from my diet. I've lost about 97 pounds in just over 2 years. Reading a book for about an hour before bed. I know it sounds like hippie shit, but 10 minutes of yoga in the morning will absolutely change your life. After a couple asks, here's some ways to get started if it's something you want to try without making too big of a commitment. If you look on Facebook events, there's usually lots of free classes. Most studios will let you take a free or reduced price class just to try. A lot of YMCAs host classes. Personally, I like YouTube classes because I can do it whenever I can fit it in. Here are 2 of my favorite people to follow. Yoga with Adriene and Cole Chance Yoga. You can also just search for beginner yoga videos. Usually you can find specific parts of the body or search by time length. Does anyone have any ideas on whether I can just start yoga myself if I already have some disc issues with my back? I feel like it'd help, but I'm afraid of doing more damage. The key is to be okay with being bad at it at first. Like, you're not going to look like the people in the videos. You're going to look like a dweeb. But it's not about pushing yourself till you hurt. It's about incremental improvement. Training your body to support you into deeper movements. I got into it because my wife had a back injury and we started together. Regular workout. Absolutely. I work out in the morning and it can really suck, but I feel better all day and have my afternoons free. Also, for people that can't find an exercise they like, don't discredit walking. Especially outside when the weather is nice. In a safe area, obviously. Taking my meds ever single day. Scheduling to be places 15 minutes early means I am mostly on time. Daily exercise. Sometimes I definitely don't do a good job, but it's worth it just to move every day. Also, I do a couple of creative things a day. Like, I take around 20-ish minutes throughout the day to draw and paint when I get a chance. All chores and errands are done during the week so that my weekends are totally free. Yeah, it sucks to go grocery shopping on a Thursday after work, or stay up until 8 p.m. meal prepping on Monday, but having my weekends free for myself only is life-changing. Get diagnosed and receiving medication for adult ad. Wearing a step counter. If anything, it gives me one goal to hit every day so I can feel like I achieve or something. Drinking at least 3 liters of water every day, seriously. Wonders for my skin, energy, everything. I do 30 minutes of cardio every morning. I started doing that when I turned 40, 4 years ago. I feel so much more energized the rest of the day, and because cardio raises testosterone, my sex drive went way up and I've dropped 25 pounds. Teacher here. Not bringing work home at all. All the grading and prep are taken care of during contract hours. I started cooking dinner 5 nights a week. I just had a few recipes that I wanted to try, but I have a habit of cooking some huge, weird main dish, and not making any sides or anything, and then we have leftover insert weird thing I cooked until it goes bad. To prevent that, I planned 5 correctly portioned meals with sides using the recipes techniques that I wanted to try. It was super fun. It gave me a bunch of mini projects to work on every week, and I really enjoyed it. After 2 weeks, my wife asked me if I was sure if I was cool taking over all the cooking, and I realized that I very much was. After a month, my wife approached me and let me know that my cooking had created a significant budget surplus, as we hadn't eaten out once in a month, and my planned meals produced less waste than the ad hoc shopping that we had been doing. I've been cooking 5 dinners a week, with enough leftovers to cover the next day's lunch for about 20 weeks, and I've developed over 50 recipes that my family has rated as good enough to eat regularly. We eat better food, spend less money, and are healthier as a result. I can now cook things that seemed far too difficult when I started. It's funny how practice works, huh? And we've really branched out. I can make a better chicken tikka masala than our local Indian joint, and my kung pao puts the local Chinese place to shame. The only downside is that when I do go to a restaurant now, it kind of makes me mad. I had to go to Ruby Tuesday last week for a family event, and the Cajun chicken and shrimp dinner that they sold me for $16 was pathetic. I went home mad, and the next week made my own Cajun chicken and shrimp that was fantastic, and served 4 to 6 for less than $16. Getting my 10,000 steps in every day. I have a lot of stress in my life, and walking every day really loosens up the tightness in my chest and throat. Even more so if I walk outside around our lake. Being fired. Eating a large breakfast, followed by lunch no later than midday, and then just a bowl of cereal in the evening, really helped to lose weight. In short, eat like a king in the morning, a prince at lunchtime, and a pauper in the evening.